All right. And we're live. All right, everybody. Let's just launch into this. We're back. We're back. We had a nice long end of year break. And
2020 is done.
Oh my God, 2020's done. But 2021 has gotten a jump kick.
Yeah, I've had my 7-day trial of 2021 and I want to cancel my subscriptions.
We're already not feeling it. So let's get this show on the road. So good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday, January 8th, 2021. Today we're talking about CES pregame, some Apple rumors, and a little bit about current events, because this is the iMore show. Joining us, as usual, is Georgia Dow, our resident expert therapist of over at westmounttherapy.com. And Georgia, are you youtube.com/Georgia Dow yet?
Not yet. I need like 4,000, I think, watch hours. So
all right, everybody. That's your assignment for next week.
3-minute video 17 times, please.
Just get on in there and watch that video. Do it.
Right.
And of course, also joining us is iMore contributor extraordinaire Karen Freeman. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well.
So, are we all having a new year? I'm not going to ask if it's good. I'm not going to make that presumption.
It's something.
It's definitely a year that is new. It has a new number at the end.
New and different.
Good job, everybody. We're here.
We're here.
All right. So I wanted to start off this week's show a little heavier than normal because it's the topic of the week. We have to talk about it. Violent insurrectionists took over the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's not great. Things are not optimal. But yeah, it was a scary time for a lot of us. I know a lot of us were watching that news. I had to step back from my desk. I know a lot of our colleagues at iMore had to step back from their desks because it was very stressful, very very overwhelming. And one of the sort of way I wanted to talk about this is kind of the tech response, because there is in the 21st century, tech is a part of every aspect of life, including politics. So Facebook has shut down, essentially has silenced the account of the president of the United States over incitement of violence. And that is just a weird sentence, a terrible sentence to say. Maybe it's good that we haven't had to say it before, but maybe we should have had to say it before. I would say it's too little too late from all of these tech companies. But yeah, it's wild times these last 2 weeks of the current news. Oh no.
Joe?
Sorry.
You okay, Joe?
Yeah, sorry. A video went off in a tab. I have no idea why.
Oh.
But yeah, it's we've got it's the end of one administration and going into another, and one of those administrations isn't exactly taking it well. And that administration supporters used online tools to organize and cause violence at the Capitol that's killed, is it 5 people?
I'm not sure. I know that it's
4
confirmed.
4 or 5. But apparently some of them died from other reasons other than the direct violence, like heart attacks or something.
Yeah, they had medical conditions.
Medical conditions, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we know the whole story and all of that yet. But I think ultimately, when we're talking about Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat shutting Trump down, either for a short period of time or a long period of time. We're talking about the First Amendment. And people who are against the companies doing this are saying, hey, it's Trump's First Amendment right to say what he wants. But, the First Amendment does not allow you to walk into a crowded movie theater. Remember those? A crowded movie theater and yell fire.
It's just crowded movie theater.
What are those things?
That's not, that's not what the First Amendment is. So
yeah,
I think these companies are sort of walking this fine line between allowing him his First Amendment rights and preventing him from inciting violence.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's worth noting that the First Amendment doesn't protect you from, or doesn't guarantee you a platform. It only means that the government can't prevent you from speaking.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you can go into my house and say whatever you want. I could still ask you to leave.
Yeah. Right. I don't have to listen to you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I can change
it's your right to speak. It is not.
Yeah.
I have the right to be listened to.
You can't force me to listen.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing also, the role that media plays now when people commit crimes to before, right? Like it seems now there's cameras everywhere. And so, but it's not just other people that are filming people that are doing things. And this isn't just for this situation, but a lot of people commit crimes and then film themselves proudly committing the crime. And I think it's a very interesting thing, the role of celebrity and the hope to get views seems to override our thought of maybe this is not something that I should put online, at least myself.
Yeah. It is an interesting thing that has happened in recent years.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw it. A lot of these people that were there were live streaming themselves doing it.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me because a lot of what they were doing was criminal.
But you see, I do believe that they felt that they were under the protection of the government. I feel bad for like people that may not really understand and thought that they've been given this. Like, that's why positions of power are so dangerous, because those that believe in you might believe in you very adamantly, ardently, without really the thought of repercussions.
Right. Well, they were certainly encouraged.
And that
even during while it was happening.
And Twitter took, he posted a video, and Twitter took it down.
Yeah, I saw it before it was taken down.
Yeah, it was not.
It was take one log off the fire and then add lighter fluid to it.
We're gonna take this off. Ooh, what do we have here?
Yeah, exactly. That was a good sound effect.
Yeah, I do my best. But yeah, it's scary times. Tech plays a role, and I really wish that the social media companies hadn't been bending their rules to fit this rhetoric for the last 4 years. It seems to me that it's only because he's about to leave office that they're even stepping in and doing anything.
That's probably, you're probably very accurate with that.
All right. So now that we've thoroughly depressed ourselves and everyone else, let's move on to some lighter fare. Get out of this muck that is already infesting 2021, and let's just CES.
Yes.
No one's going.
Yeah.
Because we can't. But
no one's going, but at the same time, everyone is going.
That's the thing, isn't it? Everyone's on equal footing. It's like WWDC last year. I've never been to a physical WWDC, but I got to go last year because no one got to go last year.
Right.
Yeah. And so, CES is all virtual this year. We already have some announcements out from companies. As it relates to Apple, CES is always a strange animal, I think, because Apple never really makes announcements CES week. They don't go to CES.
No,
so
they're not there.
Where companies like, Lenovo or Samsung or whoever might announce new phones and laptops and other such things.
Yeah, robots.
Yeah, and those are very well covered by our sister sites over at Windows Central and Android Central. For Apple folks, we don't have iPhones or MacBooks or iPads to look forward to next week because that's not Apple's game. Apple's going to announce stuff. Well, we're going to talk about when Apple's going to announce stuff a little later. But what we do have a lot of is accessories. We always have just a fleet load of accessories, truly. Cases, chargers, HomeKit. From what I understand, this is going to be an interesting year for HomeKit. I haven't heard a lot specifically other than people are gearing up for announcements for HomeKit accessories, and I'm excited. But what really excites me is some of the announcements that we've already gotten. Magsafe. Like, this seems to be the CES year of Magsafe. And whether it's Magsafe or Magsafe, I mean, Apple just announced this last fall, and it's already becoming a thing that people are building accessories for. I think it's very exciting. What are your thoughts, you two?
Well, I think HomeKit, we've been waiting a long time. HomeKit's been out for a long time. I feel like there aren't that many accessories that are HomeKit compatible at this point. It seems like most companies are focusing on Alexa or Google. But MagSafe, they're moving a little bit faster, I guess. And I have some right here we can talk about.
Yeah, you Karen, you actually wrote up an article about a new set of, is it Sonics?
Yeah. Actually, Oliver actually wrote it up, but I did receive it, and I talked to him about it. But I let him cover it. But I have some of the stuff right here if you want to.
All right.
See it in action.
Oh yes, we do.
Yes,
very much so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Please.
so this is it's so you can buy each of these pieces individually, or you can buy them together as a kit. So this is sorry if this, like, my microphone's in the way here. So it's a pedestal that you can use for watching videos, and you can turn your iPhone horizontally as well if you're going to watch videos, or upright for FaceTime calls, which is very convenient. But it's actually two pieces. So there's the pedestal, which you could buy by itself and use if you already have the actual Apple MagSafe charger.
Okay. I was going to ask, why would you want to buy it separately? But if you already have one and don't need it, you don't have to spend the money to get it.
Right. And then the Sonics one, it looks a lot like the Apple one. It works a lot like the Apple one.
But you can use it as a mirror.
Yeah, isn't it shiny?
So
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
so for anyone listening, Karen is holding up to the camera this articulating stand that has a couple of hinges on it, and it can separate from Sonic's MagSafe charger, which itself it's got a mirrored surface on the non-charging side. So I mean, I don't know what I'd personally use that for, but yeah, it's very interesting. It reminds me a lot of the Satechi iPad stand that Apple's been selling for Fitness Plus.
Yeah, I actually have that too. I've had it for many, many years. And this does look very similar to it, except that without the MagSafe charger attached on the back, it's completely useless because there's nothing here. There's nothing here to hold it in place. There's nothing holding it but the magnet. So by the same token, if you're not using a case that is specifically a MagSafe charger case, this doesn't work. The setup doesn't work because it won't stay on.
The cool part about it, MagSafe, is that you can put that in positions that you would not naturally be able to do without a magnetic phone.
Right.
Like you could really put it in almost any position and it will stay because it's stuck.
Yes.
I think that's also really useful.
Yes. But like I said, just a regular case, even a very thin case, if it's not a quote unquote MagSafe case, this will not work. But of course, without the pedestal, you could just use this alone as a wireless charger with any old case. It would work fine.
Yeah. That's great.
But another thing to keep in mind, and I'm going to be reviewing this and I'll go into detail, but the Sonics charger is not as powerful as the MagSafe charger. I think
you know how much slower it is to charge?
Is
I,
it
I believe
5
it's
watts?
12.
Oh,
I think
12.
it's 12 watts instead of 15. I'm not sure, but it is slower and it's not really cheap. So I'm not sure if there's any advantage to it over the Apple One. I don't think there is
And
really,
it
but
will work fine with the Apple One. You can use your Apple One instead.
the pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just generic. I'm sure. Well, I haven't had time to fully test it out, but that's something I'll definitely test before writing about it.
Yeah. So 12 watts. That's actually really interesting because another one that we've seen, Anchor, which is a. I mean, I've always liked Anchor's third-party products. They're little charging or they're is it a 20 watt charging brick, which is just this tiny. It's the size of an Apple 5-watt brick. It's been fantastic for fast charging my stuff this year. I've actually got it attached to my Magsafe charger that I keep by a table in my living room. But they have also announced their own Magsafe chargers. They've got 2 new ones. They've got one that, like Sonic's, it's just the puck, like Karen was showing us, and it has an oddly sized USB-C connector at the end. But then they also have similarly a stand that is actually 2 chargers in one.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks nice. Oh, and
Yeah.
but by the way, the Sonic's puck, I have to make a correction. It's 10 watts, not 12.
10 watts. All
Yeah.
right. Still, because I think the
And it's $30.
yeah, the MagSafe like charging puck from Anchor tops out at 7.5. So that's interesting that they have variable.
Yeah, so it's something to definitely look at if you're going to purchase a non-Apple MagSafe type charger.
Save a little bit of money, I think, is probably what we're.
You save a little bit of money. The Sonics one comes in a bunch of different colors, as does the stand, the pedestal. So, that's kind of fun for decor purposes, blue or gold or whatever.
Yeah. Come on, Apple. Take a hint, Apple. People like I mean, sure, the iPhone 12 is very colorful, but like, come on, 12 Pro, make it colorful. Come on. I'm begging you. But yeah, the Anchor's stand, it sort of hovers your iPhone, but then under it also has a little pad for your your AirPods for other charging, except for other wireless charging.
That's really useful.
It is really useful, especially since it's like a dedicated center. I know that that you can't really miss. I know that. So Brian Wolf at iMore, just today, his review went up of Belkin's 3-in-1. Bless you, Karen.
Thank you.
Went up with Belkin's 3-in-1. I think it's called the Boost Charge Pro. It's got a MagSafe connector on one end, an Apple Watch connector on another, and then on the base, it's got an AirPods charging area. And he thinks it's great. And so this kind of accessory, this sort of multi-charger that incorporates MagSafe is the kind of product that I get excited about. And that just really goes to show you how happening and with it I am. But yeah, I think we can safely say we can look forward to a lot of MagSafe stuff next week. I am expecting a lot of it. I kind of hope we're going to see like battery banks, like portable battery banks, but they're MagSafe.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I would like one that's also a wallet. Like I'd like a little bit of everything.
Yeah. A folio, like 12 South has done a bunch of folios for iPhones in the past. I want a 12 South folio that's just MagSafe, and I don't have to have that sticky panel on the back to stick my iPhone to it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, CES, it's not the most exciting conference for Apple fans, but it is. It should be more fun this year than it's been in the past.
Now, how do you feel about doing a show like this remotely instead of being hands-on, and the difference between that? Because there's something really wonderful about one, all of us getting together, and we do stupidity after the event, which, me love, getting hands-on to be able to see things. But it's exhausting. We're staying in hotels, which are like, we're being treated really well. There's like food, like they serve you food. They spoil you with food and blue drinks and stuff while you're going to review everything, which I'm not like totally an awesome perk that you get. But you can't see as much in comparison to doing it remotely. And Joe, I want to know your feelings, and Karen, what your feelings are of doing remote versus hands-on review.
So I've never been to CES. I don't go a lot of places to begin with, and that was even before the pandemic. But I've never actually been to CES, but I've talked to people who have. A lot of our wider team across our 3 sites here go each year, and from what I've been told, it's absolute bedlam. It's wild from start to finish. It's also in Las Vegas, which look, no offense to anyone who lives in Las Vegas, but I don't have a desire to ever return to that city personally. But yeah, I do wish I could get hands-on with some of this stuff. Like I said, any Magsafe stuff, some, HomeKit accessories are always great. I've got a few HomeKit accessories in my house, but they're all light related, and I'm excited to see things like new cameras or I don't know, alarms. I don't have a great need for alarms, but that's that sort of thing. It's always valuable to get hands-on time. But
yeah, I think hands-on is got to be much, much better. The companies that are putting these things out must be really stressed out, because how can they get reporters excited about something that they can't see? So, they are sending some stuff out, but you're not going to get the kind of reach that you would get if you had a booth and you had people like constantly coming through there, and you could show them and get people's hands on these things. I mean, I personally have never been to CES. I'm pretty low on the totem pole to be sent to those kinds of events, but I would love to go to that sort of thing. I thrive on the energy of just being in a big crowd and seeing all these new things and trying all these new things, and I think it would be very exciting. And watching it from home isn't really a good substitute, I don't think.
It's not as fun. And so one of the things I always have trouble with in like photos and stuff is the size of objects sometimes.
Yeah.
So like I always think that the Magsafe puck is going to be smaller than it actually is. Or like, you look at this, you look at Anker's stand that they just announced, the Magsafe stand. So how big is that really on your desk when you think about it? And things like that, physical dimension, actually getting to touch the products, it's useful. And yeah, we're missing out on it, but it's necessary. It's necessary. Yeah. We're still in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah. And I have also heard from our colleagues who go to these things every year that you get sick at CES every year.
Yeah.
Like you just expect you're going to come home and just crash for a week. You're going to have a flu or like something.
Yeah. It was, it's very, very, very true that we would, and also you're running around trying to grab
run down
much stuff, and it's dry air. And there's like the taxi, like we're rushing from one place to another place constantly through it, which, a lot of us got sick.
The desert in January.
Yeah.
It's better than the Midwest in January.
Well, okay. So, I mean, that's generally true, but Karen, you also have a skewed perspective because you're by a Great Lake.
Yeah.
Your weather, I am only, without getting too location specific, I'm only a couple hours away from Karen's basic location, and my weather is usually pretty different.
But it's not just the number of feet of snow that we get. It's also the fact that we do not see the sky
That's true. We're
for
vampires, basically.
months.
That's what you
Like,
should.
I can't remember the last time I saw sky. I really can't. I sit in front of a window all day, and all I see is gray clouds.
That's the thing that you should realize, dear listener, about Karen and I is we're both vampires, and we don't see the sun.
Not by choice. It just doesn't.
That's why you guys can work for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how malls don't have windows so that you don't know, in casinos, so you don't know if it's
you
day
don't
or
really
night.
know what time it is. You can they pump you filled with oxygen and you just keep on going.
Right. Like,
Which is a little bit
sky
like
just-
what CES was feeling like. Like they
Yeah.
they ply you with all kinds of amazing food and stuff, and we get to take a look at technology, which is so much fun.
Yeah,
and
that's why they have it in
rumors
Vegas, because there's no day or night.
Right. There's no day or night.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to it might not be at CES told to us any cool stuff, but, to bring up 2021, are there any exciting things that we can look forward to? Should I be happy or devastated is what I want to know.
So, all right. I didn't want to do this to you, Georgia, because it's just so rude. And I didn't put this, I forgot to put this link in our show notes. But so
for me,
I know
that was purposely for me.
I think this was just yesterday that this came out, that some companies are already preparing accessories for AirTags. And George is just like, why would you do that?
I'm almost resolved that I'm never going to get them. Like, I'm almost at the point where I have been, Lucy, the football, like, when do you stop running at the football? Because right as you're excited for it, it's going to be taken away.
Well, if you're Charlie Brown, you never stop running at the football. So really, Georgia, I'm saying be Charlie Brown.
Be Charlie Brown.
Run for that football. You'll get it once.
We at least enjoy watching you.
It's fun for some of us.
For some of us, yeah.
Yeah, one of our readers on Twitter pointed out, what really is the point of AirTags? Because if you stick it on something, it can be unstuck by a thief. So
yeah, this is the trouble of letting people know that these things exist.
Well,
they start
okay,
picking it
fair.
apart.
But I'm not going to be putting them on things like the things that matter to me have like location on them. Besides my car, which I could probably hide one in my car pretty accurately. I think.
Yeah, right. In a car, you can hide it.
Yeah. But my
like, if you put
phone
it on
already
your
has
keys,
location. That's for the keys. But let's be honest, it's still hard to find the car with the keys. Like, most people aren't stealing keys. Like, again, some people might, but like most people, they want the easy to pawn off laptop, phone, right?
Watch.
Crime has gone down everywhere. The watch. Yeah. So it's not really for theft product. It's because I will lose everything. I misplace and I don't know where it is. Like, I'm going to put this on my controller for my Apple TV, my loved, beautifully designed Apple.
Favorite.
Yeah, favorite. Like, brilliant. Thank you for not updating that in I don't know how many years now. I'm going to put one there because I lose it everywhere. Also,
you should put it on like one end of the Apple TV, so you know which end's like front or back, wherever you put it.
Such a good idea. It'd be such a good idea. Oh,
and it might be, we had that report a few weeks back that they might come in multiple sizes, so there could be one small enough for that. Who knows?
The football. That would be lovely. I would love that. I would love it. I would love to wear them just as earrings then. Like, if they're cute enough.
Yeah, we should just imagine.
Tiny,
We should just imagine all the things they might do that Georgia would love if AirTags actually.
So even when they come out, I can be disappointed. Is that what
exactly?
Right.
If and when they actually do arrive, you gotta have something to complain about. Actually, I thought it was very interesting, and I thought of you, Georgia, this week because there was a news item that Tile is reportedly prepping an ultra wideband version of its tracker to come out, and if it came out soon, it would be out even before AirTags. Like, they've gone from Bluetooth to ultra wideband, which is supposed to be the technology that really powers AirTags. before Apple even announced theirs. I mean, technically speaking, these are still
It's
theoretical.
not even a product. Yeah, like there might not even be, which would be that would be the cruelest joke.
Yeah,
Is
they
if
put
they're
code
all
for
like
them.
snickering, going like, "Why are people even talking about this? We're not even making it.
Yeah, well,
We went
I
through
mean,
a prototype for fun, and we're not actually going to go through with this."
and we didn't bother to take the code out of the OS.
Yeah, I can understand that, right? Like they just leave it because they're like, who cares? And we're entertained by watching people get excited for something that's just not happening.
That's actually why we know anything about Apple glasses, because they left Apple Glass code in iOS 13 for the longest time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. The whole AirTags concept just doesn't excite me. I can't envision using them.
I bet you would though. Because you're gonna have to review it, so
But
you're gonna have to get some.
But what would I put them on? I can't think of what I put them
Their
on.
AirPods Pro, one in your purse.
Well, AirPods Pro have the Find My already.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But your purse, your keys, the controller for the TV, because that's always somewhere it shouldn't be, right?
I have strict rules in my house about where that's allowed to sit.
Whatever you usually lose, that you just stick the dog. Like, I would definitely have one on the dog. I'd have one in each of the pockets of my kids', jackets.
And their backpacks.
I'm not sure my kids would appreciate that.
Who cares?
They're in their 20s, but almost.
They may not like that. They may not like that.
might not be their favorite move.
I may not be there. Yeah.
But yeah, there was some, one of the accessories that's already floated out into the ether of the internet, Georgia, is just like a little like pouch, just a key ring that has a little pouch on it that might be the size of an AirTag. We don't really know, do we? It's the Phantom product. It's Schrodinger's product is what it is.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. When would this happen?
Now that's the question.
What is your bet? When should I be disappointed?
My bet is you should probably be ready for bracing for disappointment around March. I mean, in all likelihood, there'll be some kind of spring event because of something that we'll talk about very soon. But March is probably when that's going to be. And when I say event, we're going into season 2 now, I think, of Apple's broadcast events. Of Apple's virtual events.
Which are only getting better.
Yeah, I have to say, I like the virtual events. I almost kind of hope we keep them because they're so much slicker than watching them on the stage.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to what Georgia was saying about CES. Hands-on time is valuable. Live photos are valuable. But at the same time, having these events, the last one, the Mac event back in November, it wasn't an hour. And they don't need to be an hour. They don't need to be 2 hours. The live events where they actually have people, they need to be 2 hours long because they're fitting in a lot of stuff because they're not going to fly press out or not ask press to fly out, actually. Yeah. Let's be real. They're not flying anybody out. They're just inviting you to spend the money to fly out. Several times in the span of 2 months just to, just so they can have an hour-long event for iPad and Apple Watch, and then another hour-long event for iPhone, and a not even hour-long event for Mac. They're going to do all of that at once, maybe twice, depending on if the Mac event is big enough. But yeah, for coverage, I will say for coverage, it makes coverage a lot easier.
Yeah. You just have to type really fast.
Yeah, just keep typing until your fingers bleed. And then keep typing. That's really.
It's like on Whiplash.
With Apple events. Just
like in the movie Whiplash, like where the drums were covered with blood by the end. Like our laptops are all bloody by the end. But
J.K. Simmons is there glowering at you.
Yes.
That's everybody's experience covering Apple events, right? J.K. Simmons shows up and he glowers at you.
Yeah.
I might need to get that checked.
Or at least you see that by the end.
But yeah, so it seems like we're getting an event in March. That's the scuttlebutt. to use a word I never use.
Yeah.
That should be the title.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, it's the same time frame that they launched iPad Pros last year, and that's exactly what's supposed to be coming at this supposed March event is new iPad Pros, 11 and 12.9 inches.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound like a whole lot's going to be different. And moving the
Yeah.
speakers around. How about moving the camera so that you can
Right.
zoom
Yeah, that would be
on
a good
an
idea.
iPad without looking like you're
Or
looking off
add
to the
another
side.
camera. So you
Yeah.
have two cameras and you can choose.
Exactly.
No, here it is. They've got 4 speakers, 4 cameras, 4 front-facing cameras. Let's do
I
that.
don't think we need 4. 2 would be plenty.
So then you can
Good.
get like
You mean like for wide angle? Like what?
no, all
You
the
don't-
same
you
angle.
don't need another camera.
Just have
One
them.
would be fisheye and one would be
They just all gather it, and it's not just 4 cameras; it's 4 true depth sensors
four. So we would be
setups.
getting information from all of them, and then we could have like a 3D
Yeah.
holographic
Yeah.
effect.
We're skipping Face ID and going right to Head ID, so we get like more of our heads, and then that way they can get around the mask thing, and people can use iPads with masks.
So do you think anything's going to happen to the pencil
Well,
or
I know,
no? Because I do
well,
love it, but
I know that like Renee and former iMore managing editor Serenity Caldwell have often, prayed loudly for a smaller Apple Pencil, but I think that's more to do with using it with the iPhone, and I don't know how likely that ever is.
yeah,
But
it still hasn't happened.
yeah, I don't think we've heard anything about the pencil, but what we have heard is a new display technology, really, and that is mini LED. The new iPad Pro is supposed to have Apple's first mini LED display, and that is very exciting.
Is it?
Well,
Sorry.
it is because I mean, mini LED is a lot better than is supposed to. I can't say it is because I haven't seen one, but it's supposed to be a lot better than the LCD display that's in there now. Even though Apple's LCD displays, I think we can all agree are fantastic.
I mean, I think the displays that we have on the current iPads and iPhones are just incredible. I remember when we made the jump from non-retina to retina, like as soon as I saw my first retina screen, I'm like, oh no, I need this on everything. And I couldn't wait to get rid of every single Apple product I owned and replace it with retina screen. But since then, the changes just don't matter that much to me.
I'm just thinking about my first retina screen product. It was the iPad 3. Maybe the worst iPad ever.
It wasn't a bad iPad. It wasn't
iPad.
like the big jump that some of the other iPads were.
No, the problem with the iPad 3 is that it overheated like kind of a lot, which is which is a rarity for Apple's mobile products. But it got really hot really fast.
Your lap was warm by the end. You were like uncomfortably warm.
Yeah, and with that heat did not come greater performance. It got really slow even with the next major iOS update. So when like the iPad mini came out, I think was that even later that year? No, it was the next year because the iPad 4 came out about 6 months after the iPad 3. And then the next year we started getting the iPad Air and the iPad mini. Yeah, that unpleasant. But I didn't have a Retina iPhone until the second one, the iPhone 4S. But Karen, I definitely hear what you're saying. The Retina display, since the Retina display, like OLED has been great. I've loved the OLED display iPhones that I've had, but I don't know. Mini LED, it should be nice for colors, maybe power efficiency, but
I don't see it. I mean, I haven't seen the mini LED yet. Maybe that will just blow me away. I don't know, but I can't tell the difference between OLED and LED. It all looks the same to me. Once we got to Retina, once we hit that threshold, nothing else I've seen since then has really made a difference. But that's just me in my eyes. Obviously, I don't have perfect vision, so.
Yeah.
But there is a max to where we can usually notice a difference between where we can't notice a difference. And I do think that we are kind of maxing out to a point where the differences are going to be more and more minimalistic. And if it works for like conserving battery power, and so our devices like last longer.
Well, that's a big deal.
Be helpful,
Yeah.
right?
That would be a big deal for sure.
If they don't, I don't think that for most people we really notice. Like if this is your field, if you're a designer, then maybe because you pay attention to this all the time, then you have probably a greater aptitude for noticing it. But
sure, for sure, for artists, for people who are editing video, for people who are creating art on their technology, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I'm now going for lower def. I'm like, you know what? I look better in a lower definition. I'm like,
let's pull back to 480p.
Yeah, let's
like those
pixelated.
There are a number of TV shows where you can tell like certain people have it in their contract that they have to smear Vaseline all over the lens when they
have that filter light on that. Or interviewers, you can see on one of them they have the filter light. And so it's this soft light on them, and the other person is in like high definition, which does make you look more severe, right? If you're going for that.
Crack and crevice.
Oh, I understand why. I'm just saying, you know, there's a limit to how much definition some of us want on our faces all the time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
we can stop at HD. We don't need to go into 4K. This show does not need to be in 4K.
No, all good, all good.
Yeah, one of the interesting aspects of this rumor about this new iPad, about the mini LED in particular, is this report from Mako Takara, which I really hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. I'm so sorry. But mini LED might only be available on the larger iPad Pro, the 12.9 inch. Do we buy this? Feels like a weird thing it would be a weird thing for Apple to do.
I don't know, but we know Apple does things like that.
Yeah, they do some weird things for their own reasonings for it, right? Like if they're wanting to sell a cheaper version, because Apple products.
Right. And
you can see them not upgrading something because they want to be able to sell some to the schools, or like then it would make sense because they could have a high end and you're paying for through the teeth, right, for everything, and you get all the bells and whistles. And then you have this low end where, you know, it's more affordable for enterprise, or like it's not going to be as affordable for schools.
Just people, you know, there are always going to be people that want in on the Apple walled garden, but they don't want to pay. They don't need all the bells and whistles.
Well, that's interesting. The thought that keeps occurring to me is, are the mini LEDs not many enough for the 11-inch display? Like, are they just not that many? But the other thing is, I keep thinking about price on these new iPads, you know, because Apple introduced the new iPad Air 4 back in October. It was October, wasn't it? No, it was September, and then it was released in October. Time is an illusion. This is what you should really be getting from this podcast: is time is an illusion. But they raised the price of the iPad Air by $100, but it has most of the features of the Pro minus Face ID because they've got Touch ID in the button. But do you think this gives Apple sort of maybe the consumer psychological consumer psychology room to boost the price on the opening price of the iPad Pro lineup?
Well, we do end up with a psychological effect that if you start off with something that's really high end and expensive, it's easier to sell something that's medium end and not as expensive. And Apple often does come out with something that's more expensive than people would like, and then they come out with something afterwards, and that does kind of allow us to feel like we're getting a deal where we may not be getting a deal.
Yeah.
Right.
So like this iPad Air isn't exactly what I want, but you know, this 11-inch iPad Pro is more expensive, but it's not quite as expensive as the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. That sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like in the movie theater, they really want you to buy the medium soda. So they have an extra large soda, which is like $15, and they know no one's going to buy it. And then they'll have a small soda, which is cheaper, but it's so little that you're paying
shot of
outrageously
soda.
per ounce. So the middle one is the quote unquote best deal because it's only, $8 for 64 ounces or whatever it is. So it looks like the best deal. So it's a shopping psychology.
Yeah. You get the one that's basically a shot of soda. You get the one that could fit a small child into it, and then you've got the medium one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
exactly.
I think we might see a higher starting price this time around. So yeah. Let's see. Delva in the chat was wondering if we thought maybe if we thought there were going to be any Magic Keyboard updates this year.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. I haven't heard anything about that.
And neither have I.
I would love that.
Interesting.
I would love that. I think it needs a volume button.
Volume
button on the keyboard.
Yeah, I think Apple.
What's up with that, Apple?
Well, Logitech has that function, Ro, but I think that comes from it being a much more laptop-like design on its official partnered cases, the names of which escape me right now.
But out of all of the function keys not to have,
volume.
Like, there's a whole bunch of them that I've never touched. I don't even know what they do. I look at the icons and I'm like, I don't know. It's a whole bunch of squares. I will guess. Karen seems to know, but I have no clue. Never touched these keys. I got the brightness there. That one I use. I never use the pause and I don't. But the volume, I think most of us have touched the volume. I don't want to have. I want the experience, right? When we deal with user interface, you want it to be as intuitive to what we already know is possible. And I think that out of any of the function keys besides brightness, I think I use volume more often than brightness. I don't want to have to think that I have to reach on top to press. And I'm angry. I am actually angry every time because I press it. It's not happening. So I'm like, I have to go through the entire, you're stupid. Why didn't you remember this again? And then I have to go, you know what? No, this is a design flaw.
Yeah.
This is not me. This is a user interface omission. And so just give me volume, please.
You're right. Because you need to access volume quickly. Because like if you get a call or if somebody
really
walks
loud,
in,
you have a baby.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to get to that quickly. You shouldn't have to go through several menus to do that.
No, or find where the button is. And you want to be able to just mute.
Yeah.
Which with the buttons, and I might be wrong, but I believe that you have to just press the button is meant like.
Yeah, I think that's your option because they got rid of the switch for it a long time ago. But I think you just got to go to Control Center. And I think my fast method is go to Control Center and just slide it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not because but also I don't use usually an iPad I'm on, my laptop or I'm on my phone. So when I'm using it, I'm stealing my husband's. So, but even like I haven't had anyone say that this would be a bad thing. That they're natively comfortable with,
Yeah,
for sure.
Volume, screen brightness, keyboard brightness, and playback controls. That's what
that would be perfect. I don't know what the others do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything
F3 to F6 could be, again, some people will send all of your angry messages to Karen. I'm
okay.
On Twitter. You can find Karen.
So I noticed in the comments, Phone Pup MK8DX asks, would you guys suppose Apple would try to integrate Face ID in an M1 Mac? I thought that was an interesting question.
Yeah. So, and this is the question of the M1 Mac, I think. Have we seen all of the M1 Macs we're going to see, or the next Macs we're going to see M1X? I don't know. That's my particular theory is that the next Macs we'll see are M1X, and
right.
I think we're not going to get Face ID until we start getting redesigns. So, and I think when that'll start happening, when actual new designs are going to start popping up is a question, though. I'd love to see it. I actually do want Face ID in a Mac.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because I use my Apple Watch to open my MacBook, which I love, but it just stops working like 1 out of every 20 times. And then I have to go through the whole thing of going into the settings, unchecking it, rechecking it, restarting my computer. I don't want to have to do that like every couple of weeks. And I do have the touch bar, so I can use Touch ID. But to me, that seems clunky compared to just opening the laptop and it works for me because I have my Apple Watch on, So Face ID would be similarly quick, I think.
Yeah, you get a little buzz on your wrist and you just double click that button and
you don't even have to. It just, at least the way mine is set up, I don't have to do it. I feel the buzz, but I don't have to do anything. I just open my laptop and start typing.
I'm thinking of unlocking things once you're logged into your Mac. You can also set up your Apple Watch to unlock things. Like instead of entering
Apple Pay and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, authorizing apps to do things and unlocking.
Right. But not everybody has an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
So I think Face ID would be super handy.
Yeah, that is the thing you can count on. Everyone that had a Face ID Mac would have Face ID. We do have one set of. Everyone's got a face.
Well, almost everyone.
But yeah, we do have one more set of rumors to tackle, and that concerns the iPhone 13. What we're calling the iPhone 13, because at this point, I don't think you can count on Apple names for phones. It used to be pretty easy. iPhone 5, iPhone 5S, iPhone 6, iPhone 6S.
No, it was never easy because remember there was there was like the 3G. Remember that whole naming fiasco.
There was a period of time of about 6 years. No, 5 years.
And then the 5C, like the C, there was a C and a.
And that was basically an iPhone 5 in a plastic shell.
Yeah, a candy shell, a colorful candy shell. And then remember the 10 was the X, and that confused the heck out of everybody. So I would say it's never been easy.
Yeah, and you had to sell this stuff for a while.
Yeah, I did, and I was working at Apple when the 8 came out, and then a couple months later, the X, the 10 came out, and I spent all day, every day explaining that it was 10, not X, and what the difference was between that and the 8, and where was the 9.
Yeah, where was the 9?
Yeah. Well, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, there we go.
That's why 6 is afraid of 7, because 7, 8, 9.
Boom.
But
yeah. So let's just call it now. This year it'll be the iPhone Lightspeed.
Sure. Why not?
Let's ditch the number.
Would this because the 13 would be unlucky and some people may not buy it based on the number 13 and their feelings towards it? Just like in some hotels, they don't have the 13th floor for the exact same reason, or the 13th room for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
Good point.
I've wanted them to ditch numbers for years. So Apple, this is a prime opportunity. You don't want to sell people an unlucky phone, do you? What? No.
But if they don't have numbers, then we have to call it by the year it's released. And
this is why I
wouldn't mind doing the year that it's released. I think that's easier for me to remember than it would be, this one's called the ABX, and then the next one is called the CDE, and then the next one is called,
Yeah,
we have to have something.
Yeah, it has to have a name, because just calling it the new iPad did not work out in their favor.
No, it did not.
Because now it's the old new iPad. And what do you do with that?
Yeah, and for just my, as an editor on an Apple website, for my sanity, just call it the iPhone 2021 in parentheses.
Yeah, or 21.
Or I maybe even do that apostrophe thing that I don't think is technically correct, but people like it. Yeah, iPhone 21. Just do it, Apple. Just do it. So,
or as Renee says, call it 22 for the next year.
Oh gosh,
Renee,
I can't even.
Don't leave me from into that comment section. I will get you. So we've got a couple of interesting. Well, one that's fairly interesting and one that's only kind of interesting to me. rumors about this iPhone unlucky coming this year. And the first one is Samsung is going to be the sole supplier of LTPO OLED screens for the new iPhones this year. And now what this is, for people that don't know, LTPO, I don't even know what it stands for, but it really doesn't tell you a lot about what it does. What an LTPO display is it helps variable refresh rate on OLED. So one of the things a lot of Twitter nerds were really mad about this year, a lot of Twitter and YouTube nerds, I'm calling you out.
Do you want me to tell you what it stands for? And I'll try to say it.
It's low something or other.
Low temperature polycrystalline oxide display.
That's what it is.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, there we go.
And it's so informative, tells you exactly what it does. So it's sort of the kind of display you need to do variable refresh rate. A lot of people were mad that Apple didn't do a 120 hertz display in the Pro model iPhones this year. Well, and I say a lot of people,
which
again,
isn't not it's not really a lot of people.
Yeah, it's Twitter and YouTube nerds.
We'll say a lot of people in our target audience.
Yeah, well, a lot of people in our core audience, which, guys, you have to be honest with yourself. Your Twitter or YouTube nerds, just own it. It's fine. I am.
I'm proud. I'll just say it.
Nerdy and proud.
I've been a nerd since before being a nerd was cool. So
yeah. So yeah, she was a nerd when you could get bullied for it.
That's true. I didn't know because I only hung out with other nerds. So we were all cool with each other.
But yeah, so they were mad that you couldn't get a 120 hertz display on the iPhone. But what I thought was really what I think a lot of people are missing in this conversation is Apple doesn't want to do 120 hertz. They want to do variable refresh rate up to 120 hertz. That's what the iPad Pro does. And
so go ahead, Joe. Tell us why. What does this save us or improve upon by having a variable rate?
So if you just had a 120 hertz display, that's really just going to eat your battery life. And on the iPhone,
because it's constantly working it's working hard all the time, even if it only has to do something small.
At twice its usual refresh rate. And it's buttery smooth, and we love that. But
we do like buttery smooth.
But what we really, more than buttery, we like battery.
That's great. There's another title. More than buttery, we like battery.
And so we don't want this display constantly running at 120 hertz. And so it doesn't always have to, like on the iPad, it doesn't always have to. It ramps down. I don't know quite that. See, Renee knows this stuff. I don't know how far it ramps down when, say, you're watching a movie, because you don't want to watch a movie at 60 hertz or 48 hertz because it just looks weird. It does. I don't care what YouTubers say. Watching movies that fast looks weird.
It does look really, really unpleasant.
Yeah, they tried it with The Hobbit.
Oh, that was so. Can I just say my feelings to that for a second? Yeah. It felt like I was watching a documentary. It was so unusual. I felt so off when I was watching it. I couldn't even enjoy it. I could not enjoy it at all. Did not like it. TVs that do that, I turn it off immediately because I'm like, stop it. This is
not how it's meant to be watched.
No, this is just wrong.
Yeah. The other thing that it helps with, I think, on the iPad at least, is latency for the Apple Pencil. But this is not now and may not ever be a thing on the iPhone, sadly. But so it lets them ramp up and ramp down. An LTPO display lets them ramp up and ramp down the display as the device needs, not necessarily as the battery needs. Because if you're scrolling through the web, for hours on end and never putting your phone down, it's going to be at 120 hertz that whole time, and the battery's going to shoot down like a falling rocket. I think instead of shooting up like a rocket, it's shooting down like a falling one.
Renee says 48 hertz for a 24 frames per second movie and 24 hertz for battery saving on still content.
So like viewing photos, that's perfect. 48 hertz for 24 frames per second movie. I don't know why that works out because I'm not a frames per second person really, but if Renee says it, I believe it. That's generally true. So yeah, Samsung is apparently going to be the only company that makes these displays for the new iPhones, which indicates that they're actually coming this year. Which that'd be fun. One less thing to complain about, I guess. But I think this is kind of like mini LED for me. Like on the iPad. I kind of have to see it. Like I certainly like 120 hertz or Pro Motion, really, on my iPad Pro, but I don't really miss the high refresh rate when I move right back to my iPhone. It really is got to see it to really understand, I think.
Yeah.
I think we're all in a similar boat to that.
Yeah.
I would imagine. The other more exciting one, at least to me, is that the Lidar scanner that is currently only on the Pro phones might be coming to all of the new phones this year.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That is really cool. It's an interesting thing that if you've never used it, it's one of those pieces that if you have not used it, you'd be like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
But then when you have to measure something or distance between people, you can go shopping and you can be like, stay 6 feet. You are 4 feet. And you can use this to be horribly annoying, I guess. But it's one of those cool things that there's all of these, it opens up all these avenues that you may not even know that you want.
And I understand you get better photos in low light.
Yeah.
You get better
with
photos.
LiDAR. I don't have a LiDAR phone, so I don't know.
And I think it either enables or improves portrait mode, specifically in low light.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a big deal because low light photography is challenging, even with professional equipment.
And I may have, questioned the need for more AR stuff in the past. Certainly will do so in the future. But like TikTok, one of the biggest new social networks in the world, came out with its first, I think, an AR filter or whatever that utilizes the LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max. So, and I didn't think AR was that big a deal on the iPad, but it, I can see it being a bigger deal on the iPhone, especially for things like that, for applying, filters and different backgrounds and stuff to social media apps.
Yeah. In the comments, Phone Pup asks, now if they're bringing LiDAR to all phones, will they bring the triple camera lens system to all? The rumors are saying no.
No,
not for the 13.
Although I think, Karen, we did see, I don't know if it's supposed to be this year or next year, that the standard iPhones are supposed to be getting the camera from the main camera, the standard wide angle camera from the Pro Max.
Right.
I don't know if they're getting the full.
Not all three.
Yeah, I don't know that they're supposed to be getting the full sensor stabilization that the Pro Max has, but I think the bigger sensor might be coming, and that would be great. That would be great for low light photos and things like that. So
yeah, although I have to say the one thing that this is my first time having like a non-pro camera in a long time, and I do miss having the telephoto. I was hoping I wouldn't miss it, but I miss it. Like when I'm taking a picture of my dog across the room, because I know if I get any closer, she'll run away and she'll stop doing whatever cute thing she's doing. So I have to either take it from a distance and then crop it, or get closer and she runs away. So.
All right. So that's pretty much our show for this week. But before we go, we do have a bit of an announcement that we have to make. A bit of one. We're not going to make a big production out of it at the request of the announcer. So, Georgia, take it away.
Yeah, so because I'm launching the channel and there's too much stuff happening right now. I will be an occasional person on the show. Whenever needed, I will be here. And so don't do the goodbye. I hate that. And I'll cry and mascara. It's bad. But yeah, I'm not going to be here all the time because of that. So
last regular appearance. The only thing I'll say, it's been great to be podcasting with you for the last year. So again, time, illusion. That's what it is.
I've enjoyed podcasting with you for the past 2 weeks. Past two times.
With you as well.
I know. I was so excited to work with you.
Yeah, don't. I'll start again. I'll start.
Yeah.
I'm a crier.
But yeah, it's been great. You'll be around.
I will be around. I'm not
You'll
going
be on the
anywhere.
show again.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
So
And we'll all be watching your new YouTube channel.
yes, it'll be a lot easier once we get that actual Georgia Down name in there. So
right, when you can
everybody,
actually find it properly. Yeah.
everybody
Right now,
go to Georgia's YouTube channel and watch the video. Watch the video.
And we'll watch you and Renee on your channel together as well. So.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna miss you as a regular presence, but you'll always be in our hearts.
I'll always be there, like, a disease.
Like a chronic illness.
Chronic illness. I'm there. I am there.
All right. All right, that's the show for this week, everybody. I want to say thanks to all of the people who tune in live and comment. We had a very vibrant comment section this week for some reason. Who could guess? We do this for our listeners, both live and thanks to the people who listen later, whether it's right when the show comes out or later in the week in your favorite podcatcher of choice. We appreciate every single one of you. I want to thank my co-hosts, Karen and Georgia, and of course, the incomparable Jim Metzendorf, who always makes us sound so lovely, so wonderful. Jim, you're great. Yeah. So for this week, this first week back of the new year, this has been the iMore Show. We'll see you all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.